generally speaking, when you look at a Shea stat line, it's a lot less field goal attempts and a lot more free throw attempts. And the way in which they're guarding Shea, I also feel to be favorable. They have guys that can stick him sort of one-on-one, not have to shade too much coverage towards him. The Pacers obviously have a route to make things more interesting than we previously believed. Full stop.
That felt like an abort mission.
Full stop.
You said a route, and I feel like 9 out of 10 people would have finished that sentence with, the Pacers have a route to win the NBA Finals.
Absolutely not. And that's how we get here, C-Cat. And I'm glad you brought that up because that brings us today. But C-Cat, I would be remiss if I did not shine a light on SGA, who just earned an MVP, who's made his way into the NBA Finals for the first time, if we didn't talk about what the hell he had going on, dribbling down his legs left and right as the game got closer and the game got tighter and later. He created a great shot from about 10 feet out. I mean, he was so close to the rim as the Thunder were already up by 1 here, and it was about 15 seconds left or so. He's so close to the rim that if he wasn't fading back, he could have damn near laid it up. He could have finger rolled it in. It was a fading shot. He clinks it off the back of the rim. The Thunder have the 1-point lead. The Pacers get the ball. They get it into the hands of Haliburton. And like you said, you with your chest and your tummy out, Hawaiian shirt just busted wide open. Me sitting on the couch, edge of my seat, wondering if Pacers fans are going to try and throw a parade now because they stole one game on the road against one of the most dominant teams in the history of the NBA, and they're going to be pounding their chest, acting as if they have a chance to win these finals, which we'll get to. They don't. You still don't. I was excited for the moment as well because both of us knew exactly what was about to happen.
This was incredible, man. This was awesome. Like, this is why you tune into these games and you struggle through the first 3 quarters of this NBA Finals games. It wasn't that good.
It was. There
was no back and forth.
They were never close.
You never felt like the Pacers had a chance.
Never had a chance.
Until maybe 4.5 minutes to go where they broke that double-digit barrier and they just hung around and hung around and hung around, kept in that 6-point range. And then Nembhard with his shaking. Who was guarding him in that moment?
You know who was guarding him.
Was it Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
MVP. Hey, come here. That's what Nembhard said. Hey, come here. Get over here.
Snatch his ankles.
Did you play Mortal Kombat back in the day? Get
no.
over here. That's what he hit him with.
And then drills the 3 to tie the game up. That was hoops. That was pure ball.
Woo-wee. We're cooking now. See, the Pacers, what they did was they won game 1 on the road, which is hard to do, right? We gave you the stats yesterday. In the NBA Finals, game 1s for home teams that are favored, 18-4 straight up, 19-3 against the spread. That was coming into last night. So not only are the Thunder one of the heaviest favorites to win the finals in the history of the NBA, not only were they a 9.5-point favorite to beat the Pacers, the numbers were all on their side to not just beat them, but beat them by double digits. Favorites were 18-4 straight up and 19-3 against the spread in game 1s at home as a favorite in the NBA Finals. And the Pacers spit in the face of all of that because, like they've showed us every round of the playoffs, they don't wilter when the moment gets great. They never give up when a lead is, even when it looks like it's too distant to come back on. Like, they were down 15 at one point in the fourth quarter. With 2.5 left, they were down like 9 points. And they just kept chipping away and chipping away. One Miles Turner step back 3 after the other.
Dude, so I like stats. These stats are awesome. So why not? How improbable, how ridiculous, how otherworldly this Pacers run culminating into last night's near buzzer beater win. So now in these first rounds of the playoffs, you talked about how Tyrese Haliburton has one of those shots in every single round, and the Pacers now have an improbable win in every single round of the playoffs, where they won a game where it was a 0.3% chance to win.
Yeah.
A game where it was a 2.1% chance to win that game. A 4.1% chance to win a game. A 2.6% chance to win a game. If you do all that math, got to multiply them all together in order to win. In order to win each and every one of those games, the odds of all 4 of those games going in the Pacers' favor, which happened. This happened. We're living in 2025 where the Pacers with a 1-game lead over the Thunder in the NBA Finals. What are the odds of that happening? 1 in 1.5 million.
That's crazy. That's not even crazy. It's insane. It's unfathomable. And it's not a nitpicked stat.
It's happened.
It just happened. Here's the one thing I will say. The Pacers, I see people always joke around and say that like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have like some kind of like devil's magic, some black magic. Like there's greater forces working on their behalf, and some people call them evil forces that help pull them to these tight wins. These miraculous moments happen. I've never actually, and I don't believe it, but I've never actually felt that more than when you watch the Pacers win these games in the way in which they win them. Like, Miles Turner is a great basketball. We've talked about Miles Turner a couple of days ago with Evan Cohen and whatnot. Trade Machine Hall of Famer, right? He's a guy that his talents are just good enough to where every team in the NBA would want him, but then also not good enough to where he's not expendable, or excuse me, where he's not off the table. So he's always floating around around the trade deadline, but he's really good. He's never been step-back three-pointer late in the fourth quarter with a guy closing out on him good. He was only 2 for 5 from 3, but he hit both of them when they needed the most. 15 points, 9 boards from Miles Turner, 3 blocks. Nembhard, what the hell has gotten into this dude? And you know he's from Team Canada.
Didn't know
Nembhard.
that.
So Andrew Nembhard, along with Dylan Brooks, obviously the leader of Team Canada, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a couple of other cats. I'm trying to think who was playing with them dudes back in Paris. But that's the crew. So if you are going to have a guy who can be a Shai, not whisperer, that wouldn't make sense because that's unlocking somebody, but like a Shai stopper.
Antidote.
The bane of Shai's existence, it would be the guy that kind of knows him best, that practiced with him on a day-to-day basis competing for the Olympics, and also a guy that is a two-way stud in Nembhard. He gave Shai the clamps. A couple of times down the stretch there, he was physical with Shai. He went back and forth with him. And you go back and look at the box score. He was only 2 for 6 from deep, had 14 points. He was plus 11 while on the court. But specifically, I look at Shai's stat line. You look at 38 points, and you say, cool, the MVP gave us an MVP performance. I look at 30 field goal attempts, 30 shots, and I say, generally speaking, when you look at a Shai stat line, it's a lot less field goal attempts and a lot more free throw attempts. And the way in which they're guarding Shai, I also feel to be favorable. They have guys that can stick him sort of one-on-one, not have to shade too much coverage towards him. The Pacers obviously have a route to make things more interesting than we previously believed. Full stop.
That felt like an abort mission.
Full stop.
You said a route, and I feel like 9 out of 10 people would have finished that sentence with, the Pacers have a route to win the NBA Finals.
Absolutely not. And that's how we get here, C-Cat. And I'm glad you brought that up because that brings us